The opinions expressed by the host and guest on this program are solely their own and do not represent the views or opinions of Blind United. We strive to provide diverse perspectives and discussions on our platform, but the opinions expressed should be understood as personal viewpoints and not reflective of Blind United as an organization.
Let's get ready to rumble! Y'all ready for this?
Good morning, guys. Welcome to another Coffee Time with Blind United. I'm your host today, Pedro. Ed is not with us today. We're also with another host, Britt, and we have two guests, Miss Cheryl Thurston, a board from Blind United, a board member, and one of our scholarship recipients, Brittany. Oh my God, Tiffany. I'm sorry. And welcome, guys. It's a Monday. I hope everybody's doing good. So, how you guys doing today? Today, good morning.
I'm doing just
Good
fine.
morning, doing good.
Okay, that's great on the Monday. Getting up, right?
It is Tuesday. It
Tuesday.
feels like
Oh
Monday
wow,
though. It feels like
I'm totally lost.
yeah, no, me too. It this week feels totally off, but I hope everybody enjoyed their Memorial Day. And what's on the schedule today, Pedro?
Actually, today, yeah, it's Tuesday. We have tips and tricks with George Zavala. If you want to learn some tricks for jaws, want to come in, brush up on your skills, even if you are a good jaws user, come in. George always got some cool tricks. I always learn something from George. So come join us tonight, And yeah, once again, man, I'm starting the week all late. I'm thinking it's Monday and it's Tuesday. but
It's Taco Tuesday.
Hey, Taco Tuesday for real. So today we're just gonna jump right into it. One of our scholarship recipients is here as our guest, and Miss Cheryl, take it away.
Okay, again, good morning, everyone. And I am Cheryl Thurston, one of the founders of Blind United. And today we have the pleasure of speaking with one of our scholarship recipient of the Les Sabatton Award, Miss Tiffany Renee Johnson. So good morning, Tiffany. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm just wondering if you can tell us a little bit about your educational journey and what led you to pursue your current field of study.
Okay, so first I'm gonna go back a little bit. So basically, um, I was born 4 months premature, weighing in at only 2 pounds and 8 ounces. Um, so basically, I was born a fighter, pretty much, I should say, because I spent the first 2 months of my life in the hospital. The doctors, they told my mom that they didn't think that I was going to survive because due to my prematurity. Um, it was another baby that was born on the same day as me, but he didn't survive, but I did.
Mhm.
So I always tell people that when they interview me or when I share my presentations, I always mention that my challenges really began at birth because of my prematurity. And so, with my educational background, I started off at well, I had sight before. So when I was about, because I was diagnosed with a visual impairment when I was 3 months old. So, and my mom, she was only 19 when she had me, so she didn't know anything about the visually impaired, what services to offer. And um, Shirley Kirk was one of the ladies that ran a pivot program through this elementary school that I went to, Francis One Elementary School in Hollywood, which is no longer there anymore. She gave my mom some tips about taking care of a child with a visual impairment. So I went through the pivot program when I was about 18 months old. And that's when she discovered that I could see. I regained my sight in my left eye. They did some type of surgery to restore sight in my left eye. And I lost it when I was 7.5 in 94 due to a retina, because I was born without the retina. So
Mm.
my retina had grew and it detached. And I also developed glaucoma. So when I went to Francis Blood Elementary School. I went when I was sighted. So I was partially sighted then. So when I lost my sight, I had to relearn how to do everything, how to read. I was just getting the hang of reading and writing in Braille, and I mean reading and writing in Prayer, excuse me. And when I lost my sight, I had to relearn how to do it all over again. It took me 3 years because it was hard for me to adjust of being blind at a young age, and so um, it was a struggle for me at first as well because I felt like I was surrounded by other people with children with multi handicap, and basically I didn't really take off and thrive when I was in high school. That's when my self advocacy began. Um, I was involved in a leadership um, program throughout my whole years in high school. I started advocating for myself, like in an IEP meeting, because they wanted me to have an assistant. But I didn't want that because I was like, when I go to college, there's not going to be an assistant with me in college. So I advocated with that, got that taken away. So, what made me begin my educational journey was because um, my dad was incarcerated. 3 months after I lost my sight, my dad was incarcerated. And so, with me experiencing going in and out of the courtroom, going to visit him in prisons, it really inspired me to go into
Mm.
family law, not just because of him, but because of Judge Hatchett. She's my uh, biggest role model. So I looked up to her, and that's when decided to go into that field in family law because of it. Um, when I graduated from high school, I graduated with two scholarships. I received a scholarship in honor of my deceased best friend Angela Liu in 2004, and I also received a scholarship through the Rotary Club. When I first started college, I went to college with only a slate and stylus and a huge tape recorder. So I had to really, that was the biggest challenge that I ever faced because I had to really uh, go through how am I supposed to get things done with that. And I had a good rehab counselor at the time. In the beginning, she was awesome. She really counseled me through while I was in college. I was also using JAWS in the computer in the high tech center. I managed to pass my classes at Harvard College. Um, After Harvard College, I took a break. Wait, hold. Yeah, I took a break because I went to That's when I went to Empower Tech and I took some learned assistive technology training there. And then I went to DPI. And then after DPI, I decided to go back to college to pursue my career. Now, I went to LA City College, which I felt like that was a big mistake because that's when the challenges really began. Because when I went there, they would automatically send me to the Braille Institute. They did not um, help at all when it comes to transferring my textbooks to Word documents. They would send me right over to the Braille Institute and had them do it, which I was going basically back and forth. I went through that for 2 semesters.
Oh
What made
wow.
me leave LACC was because when I got my guide dog, when I went there, they said no dog. And I was like, are you serious? So I was like, you gotta be kidding me right now. So first, you don't want to help me with converting my text. Now you want to say I can't bring my guide dog on campus? You gotta be joking, right? So then I went through Guide Dogs of America, got the paperwork, brought it up to the school. That didn't help. So I said, you know what? I can't put me or my dog through this situation. So I left LACC and I went to El Camino College. When I first arrived at El Camino College, it was challenging because, they only had like, it wasn't, they had some stuff for the visually impaired, but they were still learning as they went along. So I had stepped in and started advocating to get more equipment in there because the only thing that they had at the college was a Braille Note Classic. Now that was an older machine. So I started advocating for that to in order for them to get new equipment, like new note takers and getting all my textbooks transcribed to the Word documents for my, because I was using an Apex at the time when I went to El Camino College. So it was good with that. It was just getting new equipment because I needed new equipment to complete my tasks. So then it took 7 years for me advocating for not just for myself, but other blind people that comes into the school so that they can have the necessary equipment and tools that they need to succeed. And I just found out this year that because of me advocating for myself and other blind people, now they have JAWS in every center on campus. They have it in the reading and writing center. They have it in the learning resource center. And now they're installing JAWS in the Black Student Success Center. So it's since I've advocated for the blind over there that inspired me to advocate for blind people at Long Beach City College because after graduating from El Camino College 2 years ago with my associates in early childhood education, I decided to go back to Long Beach City College to get my second associates in communications. Now, this was a learning experience for me for Long Beach City College because they their DSPS services, they only work with more with the hearing impaired and other students with learning disabilities. They didn't really know anything about the blind. So I had to step up. Well, I stepped up and advocating again, explaining to them this is what needs to be done. And this is how I demonstrated things to them of what I use and how I get things done. And what I've learned also is that it's a everyone has to come together. We all have a responsibility as our job as a visually impaired individual. Not only are we advocating for ourselves, we also had to educate people, because there's a lot of people that doesn't there's people at colleges or anywhere who really doesn't know about the blind field services and how to help. So it's also our job as blind people to educate them as well so they can have a better understanding in how to help. And um, so yeah, getting stuff transcribed, because sometimes, they different. Lately, I've been using completing assignments on the internet, and some of the JAWS doesn't pick up a lot of things, so it's lack of accessibility. Like right now,
Yeah,
I have went through a challenge right now where the astronomy teacher, she was trying to automatically fail me because due to lack of the smart work assignments weren't accessible for me. And I told her that from the very beginning. I said, you know, I have a screen reader, I use JAWS, and it's not recognizing the graphics for, you know, dragging and dropping the graphics. That's not accessible. And she's like, "Oh, it's accessible. Um, the manufacturer says that it's accessible." No, it's not.
yeah.
So
We
Sometimes
can totally relate to that.
yes, yes,
Right.
we can.
and it's like I had to go to the dean because when she sent that message, you're saying that you're gonna get an automatically fail. I'm like, what? What do you mean? Automatically fail? What are you talking about? So I'm like, you can't be serious right now. So I made an appointment because at first I was gonna go for to drop the class, but then I said no. Something told me not to do that because I sprang into action. I'm like, no, I'm gonna talk to the dean and I'm gonna explain to the dean why it's difficult for me to get things done. And not only that, my braille sense had broke down. So it's not just, lack of accessibility. The main machine that I use for everything didn't work. So I had to figure out different methods to complete my assignments for my classes. And I explained that to the dean, and he was like, okay, this is not, I understand what you're saying. I don't know. He was honest. He was like, I don't know anything about assistive technology or any type of screen readers, but he was really appreciated that I went in and I explained everything to him. I explained what JAWS was, what it stand for, and what it's used for. See, it was like an educational moment for him. So because of that, he went to he wrote a letter to admissions and records in order for them to not allow the teacher to fail me because of the simple fact that due to lack of accessibility. And I dealt with that for 4 months throughout that whole semester.
That's awful,
It
but
is.
yeah, we can totally relate to that.
Yeah, and you would think by now things would be a lot different because there's so many blind individuals that are attending school, and you would think by now they would have something in place where people are not having to fail and having to wait 3 and 4 months to be able to complete their assignments and so forth. You kind of went over my next question with
Oh,
which was, what are some of the challenges you faced and how did you overcome some of the obstacles and stuff? So you kind of did that because you advocated for yourself and
yeah.
not just for you, but for others. So, um, can you kind of share your experience with the scholarship application um, and what motivated you to apply for the scholarship?
So, I was motivated to apply. I decided to apply when I first heard about it. Because at first I was like, okay, should I apply? And then I said, I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to see. Because I had um, mentioned it to his daughter at first. And she was like, why don't you do it? Go ahead and do it. I'm like, okay. So I went on ahead and I filled out the application. And then it was the only thing that was kind of like was tricky was like getting like recommendations from different people, and because I had to like scam around to see who to get it from. But other than that, the application process, it was pretty. The rest of it was pretty easy for me because I've filled out applications in that same format before, so it was pretty easy of doing. Of It was an easier process.
So you found the application to be accessible?
Yes, it was.
Okay, hold on. How do you manage your daily life and your academic responsibilities as a blind person?
So, wait, how do I manage every day? So basically,
Yeah, how do you manage daily your daily life and your academic responsibility as a blind person?
oh, so uh, how do like basically, how do
How do you just think? How do you manage
oh,
your daily life, and then your academic responsibility as a blind person?
okay. So, every day, like I start off with, I have my retired guide dog. So I take care of her first, make sure she's together. And then after that, I get myself together for school. And I go to school, I will go to my classes. And after classes, I would go to study hall in the Black Student Success Center, which just opened at LBCC, Long Beach City College. And I would do some of my homework assignments there, and I would go to the writing center to get assistance in going over my papers if necessary. Or I also participated in different clubs, such as the Child Development Club from El Camino College, as well as I started participating in another club called SAGE, which stands for Sankofa Adjustments Great Expectations. I started participating in a club last year during fall of 2023, and I've moved up to being on the board of SAGE as the vice president. For the Child Development Club at El Camino College, I served as the ICC rep, which is you go to the main meetings and you take notes, and you take the notes back to the Child Development Club, and you report to the advisors about the fundraising ideas, different events that's been approved. And I also served as the secretary twice with the Child Development Club, as well as I've done the vice president at one time. I also um, part of the National Federation of the Blind in both chapters, which is the San Fernando chapter and Inland Empire chapter, and I'm the secretary of the Inland Empire chapter.
Okay. What type of assistive technology tools that has been most helpful for you in your studies?
JAWS. I've been using
Hmm.
JAWS proudly been using JAWS for 24 years as of this year. I
Hmm.
started using JAWS in 2000 in high school. So JAWS has been helpful to me for over 24 years. I
Hmm.
started off with JAWS 4.0 all the way up until JAWS 2024.
Okay. And are you using any other assistive technology?
And I use my BroSense 6. I use my iPad, and I also use my MacBook with VoiceOver.
Okay. Good. So, who has been your biggest support throughout your educational journey?
My mom, my aunt, um, my the principal from Francis One Elementary School, um, my some of my teachers that I had over the years, and Cheryl Thurston, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. Our next one. Are there any individuals who have inspired or served you as rose model in your life?
Judge Glenda Hatchett is one.
Hmm.
Um, the second one is I forgot to mention I had an internship with another judge who was also blind. He's now
Oh,
retired. Dana Lemon. He was an also inspiration as well.
okay. So, what keeps you motivated to excel in your studies and come over and overcome your obstacles that get in the way?
I have a quote that I go by, which I wrote,
Okay.
and it's called "Never give up. Keep your head up high. Look the world straight in the face with your gorgeous eyes." And what it
Mhm.
is that every time when I go through something, at times when I feel like I want to quit, I always remind myself with that quote, which means that you have potential in you to continue no matter what circumstances you go through in your life. You don't have to, don't stop there, just continue.
That's true. That's a good quote there. Your next one is, what are your future career goals and how do you plan to achieve them?
So I'm looking forward to graduating from Long Beach City College next week with my second associates in communications. In the fall, I'm going to transfer to Cal State Northridge to get my bachelor's in liberal arts. After receiving my bachelor's, I'm going to work on getting my master's in assistive technology. After that, I'm going to pursue in going to law school to pursue in my career in becoming a family court judge. And I will also continue in my writings. I'm currently working on a writing piece right now. And also, I am excited about starting my podcast series.
So you have a lot going on, and we wish you well with that. But remember, you also supposed to been signing up under the NFB in the writers division. So I
Oh,
do
yeah,
hope
that
you
too.
pursue that.
I will definitely do that. I'm looking forward to doing that at the national convention.
Well, I know you kind of spoke of being a part of organization and doing a lot of advocacy work. And what are those that are related to your blindness?
I went to the Washington seminar last year. It
Mm-hmm.
was a wonderful experience. I enjoyed walking on Capitol Hill, and I went in to speak with Congress. One of the topics that I spoke about was making it to where applications and mobile mobile applications and websites are more accessible to us. And I shared some of my uh, the examples about the challenges that I faced of what the results were, what if the programs wasn't accessible for the blind, we will fail because we don't have the necessary tools that we needed to succeed. And just like everyone else. And that was I really enjoyed it. It was a wonderful experience for me. Looking forward to doing it again next year.
All right. Yes, we were on the same team together, and she did an excellent job, and I enjoyed working with Tiffany in that. Um, what advice would you give to other students with disability that is seeking higher education?
The advice that I would give to students is never give up. You have the power to succeed. You you are your advocate as well as educator, because it's not just the teachers and the staff responsibility, it's also your responsibility to make things happen. You have to want to succeed in life and go out and get it. And don't let anything or anyone get in the way of achieving your goals, because I don't accept the words I can't in my vocabulary, but I do give myself permission to achieve my goals that I have set to achieve.
It's good. Hold on. I like that. I have a friend that always have this sign stating that he took can't out because we can do anything that we want. Our goal is just to find another way of doing it. So I agree with removing can't out. Um, how do you think society's perception of blind people could be improved?
I feel like if we do more of educating and advocating, then it'll improve, because most people don't know. You have some that really genuinely don't know, and you have some that's just like, oh, it's all about advocating and educating. Can be consistent with it.
Okay. Your next question is, how has your experience as a blind person has shaped your personal growth?
I feel like me being visually impaired for almost 30 years have really taught me a valuable lesson of life, to embrace the challenges that come my way,
Hmm.
as well as having the confidence and courage to overcome them.
Okay. Tiffany, what are some of the most important lessons that you have learned throughout your journey?
The most important lessons that I've learned throughout my journey of life is continue to strive for the things that I want in life,
Hmm.
regardless of the obstacles that come my way. Never let anyone or anything come in the way of me succeeding, no matter what circumstances. And also stay consistent.
That's true. Good. Um, can you share a particular memorable experience um, from your time in school?
Ooh. Um, so a memorable experience at school would be me speaking on a panel for a child development class
Hmm.
about, um, shared my story and shared about how to overcome a lot of challenges as a blind person. And I also, it was like a panel with other people with disabilities besides myself. And we had an opportunity to learn from one another. And that was a wonderful experience with that.
Hmm. Okay. Now, just overall, my question is, in your challenges and things you had to do to overcome all of that, what could we do to make things easy for those students that are in school now?
Continue advocating and also educating, as well as figuring out ways of coming up with more ideas of um, making more things more accessible, like talking to different vendors and trying to see how they could come up with different, um, what's that? Come with different ideas of making more things accessible for the blind people, so that can it could be more easier for them to achieve their goals that they need to be successful.
And my other question is, like I said, I when I went to school, it wasn't they didn't really have the student disabled centers. So what does that entail, the student disabled centers? Because I'm not familiar with those.
So the students disabled services, like they have um different like programs. Like I know for El Camino College, they had like learning facilitation, which you have a one-on-one person that works with you and
Hmm.
helping you with your assignments. They
Hmm.
have like a test taking area where you can go in and take your tests, rather you use JAWS or like with me, when I go in to take my tests, I use my Braille sense because it's easier for me to read the test in order for me to understand it more than listening to JAWS, and I
Hmm.
get it done faster that way. Other programs they have is in class note taking services, where the person will go to your class and they will sit there and they'll take notes for you. Or if they have any assignments to where they can assist you with it, they can assist you. And um, they have like multiple, oh, they have workshops that students with disabilities can attend, like time management, um, study strategies, and things like that.
Okay. Now let me ask you this: with just going to school, I was familiar with going to the bookstore to get my books back in the day. When you go to get your books and your syllabus, is that already in Braille for you, or how do you go about getting that?
So what I do when I get the syllabus, I would take it to the high tech center, and I
Hmm.
would have the guy convert it to words so I can read off the syllabus.
Hmm.
And then as far as textbooks goes, I will check on Bookshare first
Hmm.
before I purchase the books to see if they have them. If they don't, I had an experience one time. I had looked for a specific textbook and they didn't have it. So what I should have did and what I learned from there is that put the request in before ahead of time,
Hmm.
because when I put in a request, the book became available when the semester was over.
Mm. Yeah.
So what I learned was, okay, if you want to download the book from Bookshare, if they don't have the book, send the request in ahead of time.
Right. I can understand that. But I was always thinking that, with so many blind and visually impaired students going to Cal State, that when you go there, the material is already there for you, whether it's in
Mhm.
Braille or what. But then you find out it's not like that. So I think that's a big thing that we should advocate for, that you have all of these students that are attending there and look like this information would be there already, and
Yeah,
stuff.
you
But
have some that are there,
mhm.
like from previous, and then you have some that's not, depending on sometimes the stuff be already outdated, from years. And it's like when you to get the textbook and you take it up there, you would have to, and what I feel like the instructor should do is put out the syllabus early so that we can get our textbooks converted, or if they have to send a textbook in to get it transcribed to Braille, especially with that, that's going to take a while. So
Right.
they will have to send the syllabus in ahead of time so that we can get this. I can get the textbook, take it to the high tech center, and have the person send the book out to get it transcribed into Braille, or they would convert it themselves by taking the book apart, putting it into the scanner, and scan the whole book so that they can convert it into the Word document. Because that's what they did with me when I was at El Camino College. He would take the rip the book, take it apart so it can go into the scanner and convert all the chapters that I need into Word so I can read it off of my machine.
Okay. Now, just like you told us you'd be moving on in the fall to Cal State Northridge. Now, do you already know the classes that you will be starting with where you can start getting that material ready for you ahead of time?
I have an appointment with the academic advisor
Mm-hmm.
in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
So once I meet with the advisor, I will bring in that I forgot to mention. So another thing that students can do too is write a letter, accommodations letter for the teachers that you're gonna have,
Mm,
and the disabled student services will have that in the file as well. So each semester, all they do is they just change the date or the semester that the student is in, and you take there's three people that have to sign off: the director, the
mm,
academic counselor, and the disability specialist. So what they do is they write this letter and they put on there, okay, these are the accommodations. Like for me, they will put student uses the electronic note taker for note taking, as well as audio recording for audio note taking. And then they have um, student requires more time for test taking, or student requires that syllabus be delivered earlier ahead of time so that required texts can be converted into preferred format for the student, and three people from disabled services have to sign off in order for the accommodations be met.
okay. Well, Tiffany, I'm very proud of you and the challenges that you have been through and how you overcame those challenges, and looking forward to attending your next graduation with your liberal arts degree, and looking forward to see you pursue that career in law. Also, at this time, Pedro or either Brittany, do you guys have any questions you'd like to ask Tiffany?
Well, Paul has a comment that
Okay.
Pedro put up on the screen, and it says, Miss Tiffany, keep up the good work. So thank you, Paul, for your encouraging words.
Yes.
Yes, I have a question. Well, more of a understanding of, yeah, when you started earlier on in your education, the devices were all big and bulky, and
Yeah.
getting the Department of Rehab to actually be an agreement with you that you need these devices, upgrading those devices every 2, 3 years,
Oh, yeah.
they won't accommodate that. They'll be like, why you need to update this device? Well,
Yeah.
this, the way our technology moves, sometimes in 1.5 years we could double up our speed, we could double up memory, and that's another whole back bar that sometimes as a blind student we run into a wall with. Also, as I have learned, also it's good to have multiple formats for a book. It could be Word, it could be a OCR PDF, and it could be also Braille. All these three formats you could jump back from and actually gather more information from them. Sometimes the OCR may not come out as clearly and
Right.
give you some verbiage and whatever it may be, and a Word document will come in handy, and some students prefer Braille.
Right.
So having those readily available is a must for, especially for our education,
Right.
for our young people that want to get into a profession and come to the into a career and excel within that career,
Hmm.
you
And
know. And, continue.
with the Department of Rehab, I started off with a good rehab counselor. Um, I had her since in high school. She was amazing. Like she did everything. Like she counseled everything that a rehab counselor was supposed to do. She counseled me even when I wanted to quit. She counseled me. You know, you you chose this even when I told her that I wanted to pursue my career, family law. I mean, she wasn't like, "Oh, why did you want to do that?" But she was just like, "Okay, we never done this before, but I have faith and confidence in you that you can do it." And that right there, I was just like, "Okay, cool, whatever." But after she retired and when she passed away, I was like, "Whoa, like, no." I started having issues with Department of Rehab after the fact. Going like exactly what you said, Pedro, like switching new units. Like, okay, why do you need this for? Okay, like, this the machine is outdated, and I love the Sweetmans dearly because honestly, every time when it's time for an update of a unit, I will call up the Sweetmans real quick. Have them write up an affidavit statement, just send it to the supervisor. Like, hey, this is why. Um, she needs a new equipment because the machine is outdated. Just like with the Sun 6, I had to write a letter explaining why. And I went through Bob Sweetman and he helped me write a justification letter explaining why I needed the Sun 6 because I've used the Sun Q2 for throughout the whole 8 years when I was at El Camino College. So you can't go on Canvas on the browser to you too because it runs Windows CE. Uh, that's not gonna work. So, because of the Sweetmans and because of the amazing work that the Sweetmans does, I've been working with the Sweetmans. I can't believe it's been 16 years. Well, I've known Bob since 2003 because I had an interview with him because he was a criminal lawyer before he started his business. But I've been working alongside the Sweetmans for 16 years and they are phenomenal. Like, they're very outstanding when it
Yeah.
comes to that.
Yeah, I can agree with Bob and Sue. They're easy to work with. I've gotten a lot of equipment through them, and it's just the time that they take to train you on that equipment is just amazing. And he would send tutorials. I mean, whether it's electronic or he send you stuff through the mail, but whenever you call them, Bob and Sue was always right there. They've been to my home and set up different devices for me to use, but I've enjoyed working with Bob and Sue for many years now. Yeah. But other than that, Pedro, at this time, I just wish you well, Tiffany, and look forward to your endeavors coming up.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Yeah. Also, wish you well in your endeavors, Tiffany. Um. And you're going to Cal State, Northridge, right? This
Yes,
semester coming up.
in the fall semester. Yeah.
Okay, and pursuing family law, right?
I'm getting my bachelor's in liberal arts.
Mm.
And then I'm planning on also getting into the writers division with the National Federation of the Blind to um, help out with more with the writings because I'm currently working on a writing piece right now, and it's titled Lesson Glenda. So basically, it's about a couple. They met in law school. They Glenda was going for, if they both were going as family court lawyers. Um, they met in the library because they were working on a paper, and Les was he was confused on what to write the paper on, but Glenda stepped in to help, and because of that, their relationship blossomed into romance besides being in law school. So it's basically about them and their journey through law school, through their jobs and everything else. So I'm currently working on a project right now.
Okay, so
Well, we're looking forward. Yeah.
you're really passionate about writing. What got you into writing? What made you so passionate about writing and do that as a side thing? Because it seems like you're really passionate about writing and getting some stories down. What got you into that?
Okay, it all started when I was in high school. I was in the 11th grade. I was sitting at my desk one day. I was just like writing random stuff. Like, I didn't even know I wrote a poem until my brother had brought it up to me. And because I printed it and I showed it to him. And I was like, Jermaine, look at this. Check this out. Because he was writing poetry, but he didn't even know. So I showed it to him. My brother, he's 5 years younger than me. So I showed it to him one day and I was like, Jermaine, what is this? He's like, you know that's a poem, right? That you just wrote, right? I was like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, it was called A Little Time. And I ever since then I just started I grew more interest in writing, and then when I took an English class that required writing, I was just like, okay, I just got more into it and I just started writing different stories about the first story that I wrote while I was in high school was called Felicia and Addison,
Hmm.
which was about Felicia. She meets this her high school crush. Her name was his name was Addison in high school, and she goes to school to become a veteran veterinarian. So, which that's so funny because that's what my sister wants to be in the long run. So,
Veterinarian. Okay.
so ever since then, I just was like, okay, I grew interest more in writing different stories about different people that I've been around. I add them as characters, and I switch their occupations around. And if there's blind people, they're not blind in the story. They have cars, they drive, and they they have luxury houses and things like that. They don't. I try to make it to where it's more uh, interesting and more fun into it. Switching careers, switching their roles, switching their responsibilities and things like that. And I just make it pretty fun.
Well, I've enjoyed your writing and stuff that she always send me to take a look at, and it's great writing. And she just sent me, what is it, part one and part two of a story that she's doing. So it's very interesting. So we look forward to seeing that come out. I've also shared with her in the Braille Monitor. They put stories in there from blind people that she could enter in there, and love to see that and be able to read that one day. So we wish you well. And again, I'll turn it back over to Pedro.
All right, guys. Yeah. Thank you for joining us, Tiffany. Congrats on the scholarship too that you received. You and Corinne. I hope you ladies pursue. It goes a long way in your pursuit of your career and things like that. And I wish you well in your upcoming semester, and I hope they are able to assist you more further
Oh
and
yeah.
and the technologies you need and the documentation you need and textbooks and stuff like that. Because I know as a blind student, we do have those obstacles, and sometimes they're prepared, and sometimes they're
Mhm.
not prepared. And when they're not prepared, it affects us. That means double time. That means studying
Right.
longer hours. That means
Right.
more days, even sometimes even starting late on assignment because you haven't even
Right.
received
Right.
your
Yes.
information you need.
Mhm.
So
I've been through it all. And I just want to thank you all for Blind United for selecting me for the scholarship. I also want to give my sincere gratitude to his daughter Kelly because um, Kelly was a godsend to me. And even though I was there for her, she was also there for me as far as giving me words of encouragement. And I've
Right.
shared some things with her as well. And I just give my sincere gratitude to her for encouraging me and being there for me.
Well, that's
Yeah.
good.
okay, and from Blind United, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yes.
Any other last comments, guys? Britt, Cheryl, anything else you would like?
No, she knows me, so I,
No.
I stay on her all the time. Stay on her.
Mm.
She
Yeah.
does. She really do for real.
Any comments, Britt, by any chance?
No, no comments. But thank you everybody who's listened, everybody who likes, subscribes, everything for Blind United. We really appreciate it on behalf of Blind United. Thank you. Oh, and before I forget, you can give. If you have an old raggedy cane that you're not using anymore, you can donate it to You Can Give, or you can give it to Ed if you see him, or you can mail it to Ed. And if you have any questions about that, info at blindunited.org, and we'll give you more information about that. Jimmy, he gives canes to third world countries, places where it's really, really difficult to get a cane. So if you're interested in that, you can give info at blindunited.org. That's it.
Yes, yes, that's our cane initiative. We're trying to complete. We're trying to get these canes into blind people's hands that are overseas, guys. Man, you know how we feel
Mhm.
when you get that cane in your hand. It's like freedom, guys. Without it,
Yes.
we're kind of
Right.
stuck, and we're trying to give people that freedom, especially overseas and third world countries where a 20 or a $40 cane is a
Mhm.
1 week salary or 2 week salary over there in
Right.
some countries. So if you will contact Ed, you could print out a free label that will let you ship out the cane to us for free, and we will get it to the right place. Or when you see me, Britt, or Ed,
Yeah.
I'm willing to collect too. um, and thank you for the guys. Thank you for showing up at the color party. We had a great turnout. We were
Yes,
all
we did.
karaokeing and all the snacks and the food. Hey, them blue enchiladas that I made,
They
fire.
were good. They were good. I ain't even gonna lie.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun on Saturday.
Yeah, we did have a lot of fun. A lot of people turned out. You know, we had some fried chicken and things like that. We had cookies. Hey, it was a fun time. And
It was.
everybody got on stage, start karaoke, start dancing, you know.
Yeah.
So it was a
Yep.
great turnout, guys. And
Yeah, I mean, if that was our first event that we did, I can't wait to see what our next event is gonna look like. I mean, that one was so much fun. So we have a turn up and paint coming up, and we also have a casino trip coming up. So Zell your money into Blind United 2022. The turn up and paint is $30, and the casino trip is $21.
yes, yes,
Okay.
guys. So come join us. Come into a lively mood environment where we provide. Hey, we like laughing, we like partying, we like good company, and we like to do what we do, accelerate our presence in our community. so the community could feel our presence, over there at Blind United. When you come out to these events and support us, helps us to give out scholarships to Miss Tiffany and Miss Corinne, guys. So we're just doing positive things over here at Blind United. So we got so much coming up in the year. I hope you guys turn out and help us out with your company and with your presence. It's always lively. Us as a blind community, when we come together and have a good time, it always ends up being a great time and a
That's
good,
right.
memorable event.
Thank you, Pedro.
All right. And from Blind United, guys, we're going to be out. Okay, let me see. Make sure.
How do you? Uh-oh. Uh-oh.